of our major goals is to every day add one thing to our arsenal. I'm hoping I'm not talking just to a lens, and I'm actually talking to people who apply it. As I said a few times already, the action is what counts, not sitting here or watching, is actually applying it. So today I want to add something that could be that very much be that people already do. And by the way, everything that I'm saying could very much be that a lot of people already do it. Some people do it once a day, some people forget, they do it twice, forget, some people don't do it at all. The point is that to slowly add all these little things to my daily routine and to get it as a habit. It shouldn't be done as a habit, but to get it as part of my system. So one very important thing that I think majority of people don't do, maybe they don't know, maybe they're lazy, maybe they forget, but we just finishing reading the parasha of Chukat, where we read about the red heifer in the diaspora. They're reading now Parashat Chukat, and we learned that the red heifer came to remove the impurity of tumat met, impurity of death. The father of all tumot, av avot tumah, the most strongest impurity that can be on a human being and easily is transferred from one person to another. And we explained there are different types of tumot. There's impurity of nida. When a woman has her cycle, it's a certain type of impurity that she has to go and immerse in a mikveh. There's a tumah of keri. Keri means sperm or semen. When a man has marital relations, after that there's a certain impurity tumah of the semen. But there's also another type of tumah that is called tumat sheina, the impurity of sleep. When we go to sleep, the majority of our soul, which is kind of hard to grasp, what do you mean the majority of the soul? But a big part of the soul, the nefesh, ruach, and neshama, leave the body. As a result from that, like the presence of the neshama in the body's absence, so a very strong impurity comes and dwells on the body, mainly because the soul is not there. It's kind of like when a person leaves the home for a vacation and leaves the home open, then will come robbers and all sorts of people to take what's inside. Same thing here. When I leave the body thrown at night on the bed, first of all I have to say Kriyat Shema L'Mitah, to do tshuva, to repent for my sins, but also to protect the body as much as possible from all sorts of spiritual entities that will come and harm the body. But even if I say Kriyat Shema L'Mitah and I do tshuva, the fact that the body doesn't have full presence of the soul, it receives or it gets infected by a very strong impurity of sheina, of sleep, because our sages explain that sleep is 6 years of a death. So I get also a certain impurity that is very strong. What is I was about to say recommended, but what is the thing one must do in the morning? Is the second that they wake up to wash their hands. Now what happens is the entire impurity is all over the body. But the second that the soul comes into the body first thing in the morning, many people also experience it in their dream, that the moments before they wake up, they dream that they're falling. And either they're flying or falling from a great height, or many people experience that in dreams. That's when the soul comes down into the body. The second that the soul comes down into the body, it gets dressed back into the body, and the soul's purity and power is so much more stronger that it pushes all this impurity to the hands and to the legs. Because the neshama, there are 5 levels to the soul, nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya, yechidah. The neshama, which is the highest of all 3 that gets into the body, only comes till the wrist. Is it wrist or wrist? Wrist. It comes till the wrist and till the ankle. Same thing with the ruach. The nefesh is what goes all the way in to the fingers and the foot. And that's why in the Holy Temple, the Kohanim, the priests, used to wash their hands and their feet. The reason why we don't wash our feet in our generation, the Ben Ish Chai says that the impurity that's on our feet is so strong that even if we wash it, it's not going to help. But nevertheless, the soul, the neshama, pushes this tum'ah away, so the impurity stays on the hands. So the first thing you need to do when you wake up in the morning, of course, you say Modeh Ani. I know many people skip that for whatever weird reason, but that's the first thing one should say is Modeh Ani Lefanecha. But right away, before even putting your legs on the ground, is to wash your hands from a cup that you prepared the night before. It is highly recommended and even warned not to touch anything while your hands still have this impurity. Specifically not the holes and the gates to your body. Not your eyes, not your mouth, not your nose, not your ears, not any other place, not to scratch the body, because this impurity is extremely strong. Now what one needs to do, I know a lot of people, what they do is they run to the bathroom. This is not sufficient, because you can't even walk 4 steps. The halakha says, Hiluch arba amot. This is what the halakha says. Walking 4 feet. But there's a question on that. Is it actual 4 feet? Is it actual 4 steps? Or is it the speed or the time that it takes you to walk 4 steps? And the conclusion is, because when I became observant, I used to make these 4 huge steps till I get to the bathroom. So Baruch Hashem, I'm tall. 4 steps of mine, that can take me pretty far. But really when it says Hiluch arba amot, is how long does it take you to walk 4 feet? 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. That's when it's activated. That's when it, so to say, is powered. So one has to prepare the night before a bucket next to the bed, and with maybe a little towel and a cup that has at least 86 cc of water, and you put it next to the bed. And when you wake up in the morning, you don't put your feet on the ground. The Arizal explains specifically not to put the feet on the ground, because the foot, we don't have a horseshoe like kosher animals. The reason why the kosher animals have to have a split hoof, a horseshoe, is because it separates them from the ground. That's what makes them, that's not what makes them kosher, but that's one of the signs. Now Arizal explains that the second that I touch the ground with my foot, then I start pulling energy from the ground. So one should first, and that's like an electric circuit, that if chas v'shalom a person puts barefoot in electricity, in water, touches electricity, there'll be an electric circuit. So same thing here, that when you put your feet on the ground, then it will cause something similar to that. One must bend over from the bed, use this cup to wash the hands 3 times, 1 to the right, then to the left, then to the right, then to the left, then to the right, then to the left, and left-handed should do it the opposite side. I explained that already why we do 3 times, because when you wash the right hand, the tum'ah, the impurity jumps on the left hand. So you wash the left hand, it jumps back to the right hand. Like this, it just 3 times, 3 times cancels it. Now the water that's on the floor that you prepared is water that stood the whole night, so it's not clean water, even if you cover it. That is sufficient enough, good enough to take you to the closest sink to wash your hands. But this process is extremely important to do first thing in the morning, because the first thing you do in the morning is what will affect you the rest of the day. So you bring purity on you first thing in the morning, it will affect the rest of the day, that you'll have purity in your thoughts, in your mind, in your action, in your speech. I explain many times to people, many people don't get what I'm saying. Most people, they use their phone as an alarm clock. And the phone has such tum'ah in it, such impurity, that most people, if they would know how much impurity, I'm not talking about radiation right now, the impurity, the klippah, there's a strong klippah. The klippah, the Yetzer Hara always looks in what to get dressed. In our generation, one of the most strongest kelim, the vessels to the klippah, is the phone. It holds such an impurity that people are hypnotized by the phone. They're becoming obsessed with the phone. They're becoming addicted to the phone. Now when you have this as your alarm clock, that this is what wakes you up, that's what happens the whole day. The whole day you're going to go to this thing, to be pulled to it. Buy a $5, 20 shekels alarm clock that goes teet, 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 teet. That's how you start the day, not with this piece of impurity. So what you want to focus on today is how you start the day. And the most important thing is you wash your hands with water. Like I said, you prepare a bucket next to the bed, a cup, it has to have at least 86 cc of water, and you wash your hands before putting the legs on the ground. You wash it 3 times. You walk to the nearest sink. Better not to do it in a bathroom than do it in an outside sink. Wash again 3 times with clean water, and then start your day. Wash your mouth, wash your face, do whatever routine you do, go to morning prayers and so forth. But how you start the day, they have a saying, when a person has a little bit of a grouchy attitude, what do you woke up on your left leg today? Now, I don't know if it works in English. In Israel they say, "Makamta al regel smol." You started the day on the wrong side. So wrong side of the bed. There's all these terms, but it comes from a fact. You start the day with purity, with the thought of the intention of bringing purity on my body. The whole day will have the scent of purity. You start the day with impurity, and the whole day will follow through and will have this impurity. Needless to say that the impurity on the hands is so strong. All it takes is you rubbing your eyes, your ears, going like this, whatever it is. You rub this impurity on parts of your body that will be later on very hard to remove, and needless to say, affect the body in a very profound way. So an act that takes you literally 40 seconds to fill up a cup of water and to put it in a bucket that costs exactly 20 shekels, to put next to your bed with a little towel, that's all it takes. Besides that, I was taught, I don't think there's really a source to that, but I was taught by my rabbi that how you prepare yourself to sleep is how you're going to wake up. If you prepare yourself to sleep with tshuva, you sit on your bed for a few minutes, you do some type of a cheshbon nefesh. What did I do? How was my day? Was I nice to my wife? Was I nice to my kids? Do I owe anybody money? Did I thank people who helped me? 5 minutes! Do some type of account in your mind. Maybe write a note what you need to do first thing in the morning. Say Kriyat Shema Lamita, do tshuva, thank the Master of the universe that gave you a whole day to perform. And you do tshuva, and the way you go to sleep, how you prepare your bed, how you prepare your clothes to wake up in the morning, that's how you wake up in the next day. Because really, the next day starts with how you go to sleep. The sleep belongs to the preceding day, not for this day. The day ends when I go to sleep, but the next day starts when I start to sleep. So if I sleep the right way, I wake up the right day, my whole day is set. Why am I saying that the sleep is the beginning of the day? Because in Judaism, we start in the night. Vayi erev, vayi boker. So the day starts in the night, when I go to sleep. So go to sleep pure. Go to sleep after you did tshuva, got rid of all your junk, prepared yourself for the next day. Prepare your socks, your underwear, your t-shirt, your clothes. You wake up in a completely different way. So this is one small step that we do, huge effect for the rest of the day.